our society must adapt to living with COVID-19. Almost 2 years into the pandemic, we have both the knowledge and the means to protect ourselves.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is right. We must take responsibility for ourselves and our families. This includes getting vaccinated, wearing masks in public, physically distancing, and frequent hand washing and sanitizing. And if we are infected with the coronavirus, we should quarantine. Our health is in our hands. Let's treat ourselves with love.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, January 31, 2022. Government is partnering with the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Carib Export, on a project to bolster the productivity and export competitiveness of the Jamaican coffee sector and boost export into the European market. The initiative was launched at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade last Thursday. Portfolio Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith welcomed the initiative, saying Europe, with its large consumer base and approximately 450 million people, poses strong prospects as a new and important coffee export market for Jamaica.
The data indicates that Europe accounts for 33% of global coffee consumption in 2021. Approximately 3.244 million tons of coffee in that market.
Carib Export has proposed a two-phase approach to undertaking the project. The first will focus on an analysis of the EU coffee market and evaluate the market penetration strategies of the other major coffee exporters to the EU. The second phase will focus on developing a targeted marketing strategy for the EU coffee market. The National Security Council, NSC, which is chaired by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, has agreed on the development of a national campaign against illegal guns and gangs. The decision was taken at the NSC's first meeting of the year held on Friday. Young men will be the key demographic target of the campaign that is to be implemented across all media platforms and will seek the support of all stakeholders. According to a statement from the Office of the Prime Minister, the objective of the campaign will be to educate the population on the dangers of illegal guns, dissuade persons from dealing, trafficking, procuring, possessing, and using illegal guns. There will be a significant public education component on the new Firearms Act and the penalties that will be applied to persons involved with illegal weapons. The security apparatus also agreed that significant incentives should be provided to the public to encourage the sharing of information leading to the recovery of illegal weapons. To this end, a dedicated fund will be provided to support established channels of information sharing, in addition to greater support for the development of human intelligence sources. Prime Minister Holness told the members of the National Security Council that the public must be fully engaged and encouraged to give information on illegal activities, particularly on illegal guns. The legislative agenda to fight crime was also a major point of discussion at Friday's NSC meeting, with the Council establishing tight timelines for tabling the Firearms Act, the Bail Act, and other major crime-fighting bills in Parliament. The Council was also informed of the continued joint operations by the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the Jamaica Defence Force in major crime hotspots, including an update on the current 7 zones of special operations. The human resource capacity of the Department of Correctional Services, DCS, has been increased, as 107 new recruits have graduated to join the service. The 97 men and 10 women, representing the 80th intake of correctional officers, graduated from the Carl Rattray Staff College in Runway Bay, St. Anne on Friday. They underwent 12 weeks of training with emphasis on the acquisition of the core skills and knowledge necessary to stem recidivism, as well as to facilitate the rehabilitation of inmates in the penal system. Pointing out that there are 137 inmates per 100 square feet across a total of 11 correctional facilities, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Courtney Williams, welcomed the new correctional officers, but stressed that their job would not be easy.
With the COVID-19 pandemic, this has just compounded the challenge for the correctional services. Let me remind you that your presence here today means that you have successfully navigated a robust 12-week training course. You have successfully navigated the obstacles of this highly physical training, and I really want to commend you for that.
The permanent secretary stressed that correctional officers have a significant role to play in Jamaica's national security landscape.
This is a service being offered to correct a wrong. That's what you're actually doing. There would have been wrongdoers and people would have committed infractions at different times who ended up being in a penal institutions. What you are seeking to do is to helping them to correct that wrong.
Minister Delroy Chuck says the Justice Ministry will be working to ensure that court cases are dealt with quickly by coordinating with the restorative justice centers across the island.
Matters must be settled in a reasonable and timely manner, because when they drag on for too long, people feel that the only alternative is to take it into their hands to get what they consider to be justice. But that is not justice. The truth is that our judicial system, our justice system, the courts are under pressure. And this is where the Ministry of Justice will now be on almost a missionary zeal for alternative dispute resolution to take away as many of the less serious cases from the dockets, from the court system itself.
He was speaking during the National Service of Thanksgiving held on Sunday at the Boulevard Baptist Church to mark the official start of Restorative Justice Week 2022. This year's theme is Crime Prevention Through Restorative Justice is Everybody's Business. Restorative justice is a process where all the parties with a stake in a particular offense come together to resolve collectively how to deal with the aftermath of the offense. It usually involves the justice of the peace. In light of the increasing number of persons waiting for their new voter identification cards, the Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, is allowing individuals to request open as well as multiple letters of identity at once to conduct business. Public Education Officer at the EOJ, Dania Harper, tells JIS News that while a letter of identity is generally addressed to the entity that requires the identification, the EOJ has made some changes to facilitate electors conducting business with multiple institutions.
In this case, we have made the letter open, so it can be for multiple uses. And the current letter that we have now that we're issuing is valid until the end of February. We realize that a number of institutions require that the letter not be open but be addressed specifically to them. So we have been allowing electors to make that request.
She says the EOJ has been in dialogue with financial institutions and remittance agencies that require identification from customers, asking these institutions for leniency where possible for electors who present the EOJ-issued letters of identity. The letter of identity is a secure document with the EOJ stamp and signature of an official at the Electoral Office. It also bears the identity information and photograph of the elector and is printed with security features that cannot be photocopied. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up.
Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence.
I only way of celebrating it. They say the people them them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal pants of it, you know.
Medal.
Amount of tongue we give them, you know.
The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report.
I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it pre. Activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration.
I forgot to download the app to get the updates then.
We said it at the top, your health is your responsibility. We would like to help you help yourself by making alcohol-based hand sanitizer from the comfort of your home.
Hi there, thanks for joining us. I know, like myself, some of you are working from home. As you can see, I've turned my dinner table into a makeshift office, and I always have my trusty hand sanitizer with me. It's finished, so we're going to make homemade hand sanitizer. We have a 4-ingredient hand sanitizer. The most important ingredient is alcohol, and it has to be 62% volume or above, and aloe vera, and we have vitamin E oil and an essential oil, just to make it smell nice. So follow me into the kitchen. First things first is to turn our aloe vera leaf into aloe vera gel. It's not going to have the same consistency as the aloe vera gel that you'd buy in the store, but I trust this over store-bought because you don't know what they put in it. So first things first, wash it, and then we put it in our blender to smoothen it out. What we're aiming for is a 1/3 cup of aloe vera gel / juice and 2/3 cup of alcohol. We're doing it 2 to 1 because the most important ingredient is the alcohol. Now that we've blended our aloe vera, we're going to put a 1/3 cup of the aloe. Wow, my measurement is on point, man. Whoa, just right. But as I said, the main and most important ingredient is this right here, the alcohol. We're going to use 2/3 cup of alcohol to a 1/3 cup of the aloe vera. I have here my measuring cup, and I'm going to pour 2/3 of the rubbing alcohol into the cup. And I'm going to add a 1/3 of the aloe vera gel. For some persons, this will do, but for me, I want to add some vitamin E oil, so as to give a little more softness for the hands. So I'm going to put 2 to 3 drops of it because it's thick. As I said, this is optional, or you could use glycerin if you have it at home. Then the next one is the essential oil. I chose tangerine because I like that smell. And I'm going to add maybe 6 to 8 drops. And it's purely for cosmetic purposes. It doesn't add anything. As long as you have the rubbing alcohol, you should be good. Then I will just mix them together. In a clean container, after you mix the ingredients together, you pour Now that we've made our homemade hand sanitizer, the only thing left to do is to try it out. Very moisturizing. Wow. It's very strong too. Smells a lot like the alcohol.
with a tinge of the tangerine. So you can try it out right there in the comfort of your home.
As we gear up to celebrate Reggae Month in February, we look at the evolution of our local music art form.
Relax, man, we'll soon get there. In fact, we are here, the Institute of Jamaica. This is where we're going.
What is this, Grandpa?
When you go in, you'll see. Come on, let's go.
Oh, where's a carry some place me no want go.
You say you want to be a musician? Well, you have to come here. Let me show you where the music is coming from. Step inside. See, this is where I want it to come. You see how far Jamaican music coming from, Kadim? These are Tainas, the first people, and see, they're playing drums and dancing. And look at these African instruments. That's when the first Africans came to Jamaica. Now, I bet you don't know what this instrument is.
Rumba box?
It is a rumba box, and you hear that in what kind of music now?
Mento.
Mento, that's what makes the mento music so sweet. Now, look at this. This is jazz music. Jamaica had a rich tradition of jazz. Coming right out of Alpha Boys School, you see it? Right after jazz, the same jazz musicians were playing R&B.
I found my thrill.
That came from America. And when the R&B dried up from America, then they started making Jamaican R&B. Jamaican turned the R&B around and made their own Jamaican style of R&B music, which then led to ska.
It was the beginning of independence. Ska was looked upon as the new sound of Jamaica. We finding our own identity, not following the American R&B or the ballad or the middle of the road kind of music that was coming from North America and Europe. And so it was very nationalist in its outlook and output.
Gather together, be brothers and sisters, we're independent. Join and stuff hands, children started to dance, we're independent. Oh, be said and do. The Lord is still with you. God bless, no one curse. Thank God I'm not the worst.
Seems like the music always speak about social issues.
A lot of the music is about social issues. After all, life is music and music is life. After ska, you got Rocksteady.
Rocksteady, the rhythm, the ska still continue, but the bass rock. And the guitar and the piano, ska same way. But the bass, the emphasis on the bass, so yeah, fall back on you.
Well, it look as if we can hear music here.
I like this, Grandpa. It's
This
nice.
is Rocksteady. No, you should have seen me and your grandmother in those days. Rocking steady.
Yeah, Grandpa.
Yes. That's Alton Ellis, you know. The great rock steady, you know. Let me turn down the people things here. Next thing, then throw us out of here. And go back to watch this thing.
But Grandpa, you've been talking about Jamaican music for how long now? And until now, I haven't heard anything about reggae.
Well, we're coming right up to reggae now. Here we are, reggae. Well, first of all, many people say that reggae was born at Sir Coxson's Studio 1 on Brentford Road.
Clement Dad brought a piece of machinery to the studio for about a year. It was sitting there. And no one knew exactly what to do with it. And so they hooked it up one day and decided to implement it. And they discovered it was a tape delay. And so they hooked it into the machine and they started doing it into the recording. So when they put the guitar sound through the tape delay, it comes back saying that. The rest of studios hearing this recording out, they thought it was the guitar making that and just copied that, and that was the birth of reggae music.
I want to do the reggae, girl, with you. Yeah, come on to me.
Here are some of the great artists who came out of that. Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and Bonnie Livingston, the Wailers, Burning Spear, and so on. Now, reggae was also a way of life. It was the greatest advertisement for Rastafari.
I think it's my time to teach you a little bit.
What can you teach me?
Come right here, sir.
Oh, dancehall. I know that's when you were going to get happier.
It was just a little bit different in the 80s where you have more artists that come and you have to compete with artists like every day, and the dancehall vibes. When you go into the dancehall, you know, you have to just hold the mic to get a bus. And now it's different. You just have a CD, go to the radio station and get some airplay.
The 90s had these persons like Beanie Man, Lady Saw, and Bounty Killer. Up to today, Beanie Man and Bounty Killer still have swag.
Right now, we have producers that are artists that are producers, and radio jocks who are doing both. With technology, the music is now diverse.
We are accepting music on a broader scale. One time gone till you want to hear hip-hop music or techno music being played in a dancehall setting. And that is happening right now. A lot of pop music is being accepted. Disco music, techno music, electro house music is being accepted right now. Hip-hop music is widely accepted right now. So we as Jamaican, we are listening to a wide cross-section of music.
That means that we took music and turned it into Jamaican music, and we have given it back to the world, and everything has now come together. Kadeem, the tour done. See, it wasn't that bad after all.
For real, Grandpa. Really inspired by all of this. Well, out of many, we're really one music.
And you might yet become a good musician.
Thanks, Grandpa.
Yes.
This year, Jamaica celebrates 60 years of political independence. We are also celebrating having our own distinct culture and heritage. One of the ways we commemorate our achievements is through the continued practice of our traditional folk forms. Take a look at one of them.
Gere is one of Jamaica's more than 10 traditional folk forms that are mostly influenced by our African heritage and retention. Today, we take a close look at this work of art. To observe the fundamental rhythm of this artistry, we visited the award-winning William Knibb High School in Trelawney.
Hello, Bayado. Hello, Bayado. Hello, Bayado. You write me love letter. Me put it on the table. Me put my come read it. Hello, Bayado. Hello, Bayado. Hello, Bayado.
Gere is a dance of African origin that is usually performed the second night after the death of a person. The dance is very lively, flirtatious, and celebratory in nature, geared towards cheering the bereaved.
I should tell you too that most of our traditional folk from the African retentions, they are more similarities than differences. And the differences come sometimes in the songs or the music instrument or some of the steps. But there are more similarities than differences.
With that said, the Gere dance is similar to that of Dinky Minnie and Zella, with more emphasis being placed on the hippie movement, executed mainly by the female dancers.
The main movement for the ladies is the hippie movement, right? The hippie movement, and it's not a whiny movement. It's not a whiny movement, it's just a little hippie movement, like the mentor movement, a little dip, all right? And for the males, you'll find them doing the knock-knee like the Dinky Minnie.
The movements, although vigorous, are very subtle. The males would maintain the knock-knee position while exhibiting various styles and nuances as they execute their movement with subtle breaks towards their female partner, which is signaled by the drums.
Bamboo, bam, bamboo. You hear me in a bamboo. You hear me in a bamboo. Bamboo, bam, bamboo.
The music and songs are done in ring game style and often employ a call and response, which indicates the type of movement the dancer should do.
So you have a caller and have the response. The group respond to it.
Like all our other traditional folk forms, the Gere dance would not be possible without lively musical accompaniment. A host of instruments are used to bring life to the dance.
In the Gere, you will see the rattle and the bass drum, which is a dominant to revival. But then the dominant thing in Gere that makes it different from Dinky Minnie and the others is the pot cover. And that gives a nice sound. All right?
As it relates to costume, Gere dancers are clad in the typical African retention dress code, loose skirt and peasant blouse for the females, and tailored pants and dashiki shirt for males.
All over African retention dances, traditional folk forms, they are done with 16 persons performing, and you have 6 others outside doing the singing and playing the instruments.
Today, Gere is mostly practiced in the western end of the island, but you will also see it being performed as part of the annual JCDC Festival of the Performing Arts competition. One thing is for sure, wherever it is practiced, one cannot help but notice that Gere has its own distinctive flair, which makes it a vital asset in Jamaica's rich amalgamation of cultures.
And when you bend down low, and when you bend down low, and when inna me red away, inna me, and when you bend down low, and when you bend down low, and when you bend.
That's all the time we have here on this station. Keep the lines of communication open. Email us, Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Join us on all the major social media platforms. Visit our website and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Catch up with us while on the go by downloading our mobile app. We're here for you. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.